Every year Google does this. They release an A device. Last year it was the Pixel 7a, this year it's the Pixel 8a. And you question yourself, like, shouldn't I have just waited for the A device instead of picking up the regular Pixel 8? Because the 8a is $499 and the 8 is $699. That's a $200 price difference. And don't get me wrong, there's always discounts with Google. Like one day they have a huge sale, you can get it for like 150 bucks off, and then this whole conversation doesn't mean anything. But we know they're going to discount the 8a at some point, making it an even cheaper device to buy. And there's so many similarities that I feel like for $200 more, at the very moment, picking up the Pixel 8 is probably not worth it. Like when you look at these devices flat on a table like this, it's really hard to tell the difference. It just comes down to the material choices. The Pixel 8 is using a plastic back. Personally, I like the way it feels. I like the fact that it's frosted. Because it's frosted, you don't see any fingerprints whatsoever, which is a great thing. Whereas on the Pixel 8, it's glass, Gorilla Victus glass, but if you're not rocking a case, which I feel like most of you are, you will see fingerprints, and obviously it's going to pick up a lot of reflections. And then once you have both of these devices in your hand, even though technically the Pixel 8 is a 6.1 inch display compared to the 6.2 on the Pixel 8, the Pixel 8a is a tiny bit heavier. You can tell, like 188 grams compared to 187. You're obviously not going to feel it in your hand, but it is heavier and it's a little bit thicker too. But the weird thing is, when you have both phones rested on the table like this, because the camera bump on the Pixel 8 is a little bit deeper, it actually rests higher than the cheaper Pixel 8a. The button placement is identical. It feels just as clicky on both devices. Even the antenna lines are in a very similar place. Just the top has 2 on the Pixel 8a compared to the Pixel 8. Dual speakers on both of them. I'm gonna do a little sound comparison and you guys let me know which one sounds better. Now, the best way to sum up the differences between these two phones are a lot of little choices. So for example, IP67 certification on the Pixel 8a, which means you can put your phone up to 1 meter for 30 minutes in water and it shouldn't have any issues, whereas the Pixel 8, you can do 1.5 meters for the exact same time. Not a big deal, but there is a difference. The other thing to note is the bezels. Like the bezels on the Pixel 8a are significantly bigger. Like it's not the nicest looking phone in terms of the bezel size. Like it looks very 3-4 years ago, but again, like this is their entry level Pixel for this year. It's not going to look as refined as the regular Pixel 8, but you know what? I'm okay with it. It doesn't feel like I'm holding a phone that's significantly bigger. It still feels, you know, pretty compact, just like the regular Pixel 8 that was released last year. Even the display technology is identical. Like you are using 120 hertz display. They're both OLED. They both get up to 2000 nits of peak brightness. The only difference again comes down to the materials. On the front, you have that Gorilla Glass Victus on the 8 compared to Gorilla Glass 3. The other thing to keep in mind is that when you are looking at the Pixel 8, it just feels a bit more compact in the hand since the phone itself is not as wide. To make everything a little bit more difficult to choose between these two devices, they both share the exact same Tensor G3 processor. Like you're gonna get the exact same speeds. It doesn't matter if you're gaming, if you're just browsing the net, it has the same processor. It even has the same RAM and storage configuration, so you're not getting any differences there. The only area that you're getting a slight difference is the battery size. 4575 milliamp hour battery in the Pixel 8 compared to 4492. But to be quite frank with you, I'm really not noticing a difference in terms of battery life. These are one-day phones. Pixels tend to run a little bit hotter than most other devices on the market. I find that these are solid one-day phones. You take it off at 6 a.m. in the morning, it's gonna get you till 10:30 at night, but you are going to recharge it. Again, this is general stuff. Like if you're gaming on this thing all day, you're just not gonna get that kind of battery life. Now, besides material changes, the other big difference is the camera arrangement. On the regular Pixel 8a, it's using the exact same sensors as the Pixel 7a. So 64 megapixel wide lens with a 13 megapixel ultra wide lens. Pixel 8, using that 50 megapixel sensor for the wide, and then of course you have 12 megapixel ultra wide. And you would think based on megapixel count that the Pixel 8 would have the better camera arrangement. But that's not the case at all. The wide lens doesn't have an aperture that is as good as the Pixel 8, and the color choices in these photos are a bit different. If you look at the photos, I find that the Pixel 8a tends to lean towards the yellows. They're very contrasty, very yellow photos. It still looks fantastic. Like, it still looks really good, but beside the regular Pixel 8, you can tell that it's more neutral with the white balance. You can see more detail in the shadow. It's just a stronger sensor overall. This doesn't matter if you're using the wide lens or if you punch in 2 times, the differences are there. They're there, but they look good nonetheless. The crazy thing though is that I still look at this Pixel 8a as a $499 smartphone with still one of the best cameras you can buy in a smartphone for that price. The other difference comes down to the front-facing camera, and I think this is kind of interesting because the 8A has a 13 megapixel camera. I do find it to be a bit sharper. It did mess up the white balance on my skin when I was taking a selfie. I found it to be a bit more pleasing on the Pixel 8. But when it comes to actual exposure, especially in the video I'm about to show you, it's better on the 8A. It just does a better job with the highlights overall. You'll see what I mean. So right now you're looking at the front-facing cameras of the Pixel 8a and the Pixel 8. I think one's 13 megapixels, the other one is 10. But yeah, they both shoot 4K. You guys let me know if there's any differences, which one looks better, and most importantly, which one has the better microphone. As for nighttime photography, a slight advantage to the Pixel 8, but I did find that the Pixel 8a would usually take the photo like 1 second faster. It wouldn't have to count down from 3. Sometimes it would do it from 2. But because you have an aperture that can be opened up a bit more, you're just gonna get better low light photos with the Pixel 8. But again, like, we're splitting hairs here. Like, it's a very minor difference. The only area where I found the Pixel 8a to sometimes take better photos is with the ultra wide camera. But as for video, they both can shoot 4K 30 and they both can shoot 4K 60. But the Pixel 8a cannot do 24 frames per second, only the Pixel 8 can. I did find video to look a tiny bit better on the Pixel 8 because it does have electric image stabilization along with OIS, whereas the Pixel 8 only has OIS. And you can see, like, when I'm running that it's shaking on both, but the Pixel 8 is doing a better job of managing it. So here's the thing, with the Pixel 8a getting crazy long updates until about 2030, it's really hard to justify the Pixel 8 for $200 more. The Pixel 8, fantastic phone, like, it's a great phone, but Google happened to manage to put something out for $200 cheaper that gets you 90% there. If ever the Pixel 8 goes on sale, then obviously buy the Pixel 8 over the 8a. But my feeling is in the next few months, you're gonna see the 8a drop even further, and it's probably gonna become one of the best smartphone deals you can buy when that actually happens. If you have any questions about both of these devices, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll place links in case you wanna pick them up. And of course, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.